रहिए।
Good evening viewers and welcome back to Media Scan, your weekend dose of headlines, controversies and perspectives. Electioneering is at its peak in the 4 states and 1 union territory. Vaccination is being scaled up and there is a lot happening in Maharashtra. Altogether, this has been another hot news week. So, what made news? India is now the fastest in its vaccination drive, but at the same time, there is a worrying surge of COVID cases in at least 6 states. So, with the advice of the domain experts, the Union Cabinet this week allowed vaccination for all those above 45 from 1st April onwards. This will help contain the spread of the virus. So, if you are 45 or above, go for the vaccine. A new chapter begins in the historic India-Bangladesh relationship with a visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Dhaka and other places. Incidentally, the first foreign visit of PM Modi since the COVID outbreak. In a statement prior to the trip, PM Modi said his visit would be an occasion to convey appreciation for Bangladesh's remarkable strides and to commit India's abiding support to these achievements. Besides substantive discussions with the Bangla PM Sheikh Hasina, PM Modi's itinerary includes interaction with the Matua community and praying at the Jashoreshwari Kali temple. India recently announced the Gandhi Peace Prize for Bongo Bandhu, the late Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Poll campaigning is at its peak. This week witnessed the releasing of manifestos by many parties in the poll-bound states. Public meetings and war of words are grabbing headlines by the hour. First phase voting also took off in West Bengal and Assam today. Voters from 30 assembly segments in West Bengal and 47s Assam have exercised their franchise. It looks like a full-scale war in the Mahavikas Aghadi. After the letter bomb by ex-Mumbai Commissioner Parambir Singh, many bigwigs including Sharad Pawar tried to shield Home Minister Anil Deshmukh. Meanwhile, NIA slapped the stringent UAPA on Sachin Waze. Rumblings were heard within the coalition as well. After his explosive letter, Parambir Singh knocked at Supreme Court and later the High Court. The Apex Court termed his allegations very serious and asked him to go back to Bombay High Court. BJP state leadership has kept up the pressure on the resignation of Deshmukh and even met the governor. We are going to have a very interesting discussion with my special guest on this subject in just a few moments. Kangana Ranaut was declared the best actress for her movies Manikarnika and Panga in the National Film Awards for 2019. Manoj Vajpayee and Dhanush were both declared the best actors. The movie Chichore, where late Sushant Singh Rajput played the lead role, has bagged the Best Film Award. So, those were some of the big headlines which captured most of the media space during the week. But there is one string of events which is getting murkier by the day. Yes, I'm talking of the goings-on in Maharashtra. First, we saw the letter bomb last week by transferred top cop Parambir Singh, where he accused State Home Minister Anil Deshmukh of forcing the police for extortion. Since then, there has been a flurry of activity. So, is the Mahavikas Aghadi top brass shielding Anil Deshmukh because it might open a can of worms? Is there a game of one-upmanship going on in the Maharashtra government? We have already heard Sharad Pawar, but what is the Congress position on the entire chain of events? And why is Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray not speaking his mind? In all this scenario, what has been the media's treatment of the subject? To answer and understand better all these questions, I have a special panel of guests here with me. Let me introduce my first guest to you. I have here with me former IPS officer, well-known media personality. You have been reading him in newspapers and hearing him on television regularly, Mr. Yashovardhan Azad. Particularly on this subject, he has been speaking his mind very candidly. Welcome Yashovardhan Azad to Media Scan. And I want to give you a special warm welcome because this is your first appearance on our show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, I want to welcome my second guest here, a person I have been observing and reading for a pretty long time now, Sunil Chauke, a seasoned, well-known political journalist based both in Mumbai and Delhi. He has been one of those people who has relentlessly and very objectively been covering the affairs of the national politics as well as Maharashtra politics. Welcome, Sunil Chauke. Also your first appearance on Media Scan.
Thank you.
So by welcoming both the gentlemen here, let me just get on with our discussion right away. Mr. Yashovardhan Azad, can I first come to you, sir? We saw a top cop directly alleging the Home Minister of the state of forcing them into extortion. Later he went to the Supreme Court and now he's petitioned a PIL in the High Court. We already have a suspended cop, already one suspended earlier, then reinstated in the police, now being accused of murder, extortion, having illegal arms, having a string of luxury cars, a suite in one of India's costliest hotels, and God knows what more. We have a government pointing fingers at each other. We have the opposition petitioning with the governor and in the media trying to say that the government or at least the minister must resign. Since I have been reading you, sir, on this subject, and you have very candidly written about the entire state of affairs, very briefly, if I may ask you, what exactly is happening in Maharashtra?
Well, everything wrong is happening in Maharashtra, Smita ji. Let me start by saying that, as you mentioned rightly, that letter bomb, it was more a question of an ham-handed attempt at extortion. And it couldn't have been only at the behest of a junior officer called Baze. Naturally, since he had the direct access with the, the commissioner, and as a junior inspector, he had inspectors above him, he was heading the crime intelligence unit and reporting directly. Now, it has been established that he's an accused both in this case and also in the murder of Hiren Mansukh case. So the sheer brazenness of the crime is astounding. And what is even worse is that if this man has done it, obviously he has done it with support from higher quarters, whether it is in the establishment of the police hierarchy or it is even with the political establishment. Secondly, you're absolutely right that the letter bomb of the police commissioner, which goes against the Home Minister, if today the government has removed the police commissioner for an impartial inquiry, then obviously the Home Minister should also resign for an impartial inquiry.
Exactly.
My third point is that on this letter bomb, which has just come about in the last few days, and it has been transferred to High Court, and rightly so, because under Article 226, High Court can really view the whole thing properly. But to avoid politics in any form and look at the administrative apparatus where a rot has set in, it is important to have a judicial appointed probe, which is guided by the probe. Now, the NIA is rightly taken over both the investigations, which is absolutely right. But this part, whether it's the transfer racket, whether it's the extortion racket, whether it's the deep rot, which is in the administrative system, this must be looked into by the court. So these are the
allow me a
issues
cross question here, sir. A very quick cross question before I come to Sunil Chauke also to get his perspective on the situation. I mean, going by the kind of revelations that are tumbling out, and I'm sure there is much more that will come out, we now have this situation where the state government has simply sort of, rejected and in fact questioned the veracity of that transfer racket report that was being shown by Devendra Fadnavis, former CIV. They are saying that Rashmi Shukla in fact had some own axe to grind, when she wrote that report. They are saying it was not even done in the right way. It was by means of underhand surveillance.
Well, there are two things in it.
Yes.
First is, the chief secretary is the chief babu of the state.
True.
Has written to the chief minister that everything is all right. Naturally, what else can the chief minister expect from a chief secretary? So obviously he's not said anything. Now the question is whether the information sought has been sought in a legal way or an illegal way. Technically,
Okay.
if you see, it is legal because she has got the permission for tapping. But the issue which is very sad here, Smitaji, is that not looking into the real problem, that is the transfer for cash, and trying to wave it away in technicalities. That is the sad part of the system today. And if they don't look into this problem, which is a real rotten issue cropping within, and which has really worried ex-police officers like us, then it will be very, very sad for the government in future.
Sunil Chavke, with your experience of national politics, Maharashtra politics particularly, since this is Media Scan, I want to have your perspective on the way media has gone ahead with the subject. Of course, had the media not been active, all of this wouldn't even have come out. But then questions have been raised. I saw a lot of finger pointing on the Mumbai media, people saying that Mumbai media is perhaps, trying to give a safe passage to the Aghadi government. They are being soft on the government. The Mumbai media is saying that people outside Maharashtra are trying to disproportionately highlight the issue. There are other issues to be highlighted. How do you look at the media's treatment of the entire issue, sir? Do you think it is balanced? Do you think they have been sensationalizing? Have they been raising the right questions?
Yes, media is balanced and raising the right questions and not protecting anybody in this case.
Right.
Because most of the media centers, particularly national media, they are located in Mumbai also. So Mumbai is being the financial capital of the country. All the media persons and all media channels and newspapers, they are having their offices there, and they do it in a very balanced way. So media is doing its duty perfectly and not saving anybody else from this
This chain of events here. But how
yeah.
do you, okay, fine, point taken, sir. But how do you look at the political situation now? I mean, do you think there is one thing on which all newspaper editorials and all of the well-known commentators have said, that at least the Home Minister must go. I think there is unanimity on that point, at least, if not any other. Some are also questioning the authority of the government now. So how do you look at the political situation? What do you think might happen?
Absolutely, you are saying this right thing, because Home Minister has become lamed up after this event, chain of events, and now he has no role to play. But given the NCP mindset, Sharad Pawar's mindset, who is controlling NCP activities and NCP affairs there, he will not immediately sack Anil Deshmukh from Home Ministry. He is trying to shield him as far as possible, and like Dhananjay Munde, the way he protected him in the other case, Anil Deshmukh is also being protected at the moment, and after some time he will shift him to other safer ministry, will not sack him.
But do you think he will be able to pull this off? I mean, not sacking Anil Deshmukh, do you think the situation is isn't it completely untenable now?
The situation is untenable as long as Anil Deshmukh is there, but after shifting Anil Deshmukh to different ministry, the situation will calm down, and I think the number will play the major role in this situation.
And
because
do you think
Mahavikas Aghadi having around 170 MLAs with them, and as far as the government is stable, it will not cause any harm to the government.
Right. So you don't think the government is in any kind of threat, but perhaps Deshmukh might have to go. Mr. Azad, my first question, do you agree with Mr. Chavke's reading of the situation? And secondly, sir, a more substantial point, considering the murky circumstances at the moment, I mean, what do you think a truly sincere and diligent police officer ought to do in this situation? Your understanding, sir.
Yeah, let me tell you two things. Government may not be threat due to
Yes.
the numbers, but its
Yes.
reputation is under very serious threat.
True.
There is nothing more murky which has come out in the last 70 years of our independence. That, a police commissioner levels a direct charge that is given in cold print, and he has gone to the Supreme Court. He's not scared. Now, people may question his credibility. Okay, fine, he must have done it when, he got the information in February and not after he left. But the point is, Smitaji, that the facts don't change.
Right.
So it has been going on, whether it is with the collusion of both or whether it is being separately, the act is going on. And therefore, if that man has sent a letter to Supreme Court, then and Supreme Court has referred it back to the High Court, and High Court has the right jurisdiction. It is extremely important that the whole thing be looked into. Today Mumbaikars have lost their faith in the system, because if somebody tells you that 2,000 bars are being extorted every day, now it can be done individually by some thanas or police stations, as Mr. Sunil will also agree with me. But to run a racket on an institutional way like this is something extremely serious. So that is why I think that, this kind of defense of shooting the whistleblower is making no sense. The other thing which I want to say is that for something to be commented upon on whether it's on the tapping or whether it's on the transfer or whether it's on the allegations, I mean, NCP chief may be a very respected leader, but he has no business to comment on the affairs of the administration. So for the affairs of the administration, it has to be the CM who should say something, or somebody really responsible from the government. So in that respect, I would say that the credibility of the government is very much at stake. And secondly, the other point is that about the transfers,
Yes.
it's a very, very important issue which has been raised in the system. Now, you realize that this Vazee was taken in 2019 by whom? By the police commissioner and also the additional chief secretary. Is the role of additional chief secretary just to sign, stamp, and send things upwards and send things downwards? They should all be brought to
So
question.
are you
And this
hinting?
whole thing-
Are you hinting that when the additional chief secretary signed the order for reinstation of Vazee, he was under pressure from somebody much bigger, certainly the political leadership? Is that what you are saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was actually a Shiv Sainik in uniform.
Yes.
That fellow had, if you see, he was a murder accused. He was suspended. And he had already joined Shiv Sena. To take a man back is also contempt of the High Court order.
Yes.
So if he had been taken in and both these parties have been there, then Mr. Fadnavis should have also taken the list of the IAS officers who had signed this and sent it to the Ministry of Personnel.
I will come
So,
back to you, sir. These are very, very serious and I mean quite mind-boggling questions about the rot in the entire system. Very quickly, Mr. Chowke, how do you look at the positions taken by these three senior leaders, and if possible on the Congress also?
So the Congress party, to start with, the Congress party is just an onlooker in this entire scenario. Just to keep BJP out of power in Maharashtra and stay in a state like Maharashtra, they know it is very necessary to keep BJP out of power, because last time during 95 to 99 they suffered the same thing, and after that they were able to forge alliance with NCP and ruled for 15 years. Yeah.
Understood.
So,
but what do you think about the Chief Minister, sir?
Chief Minister's inexperience is quite visible and evident in this case, and also earlier cases, because he is a kind of reluctant Chief Minister, and his working style is different. He is not a seasoned administrator. These are the things he is lacking, and the advantage other parties, particularly NCP, is taking because of his inexperience. So, and Devendra Fadnavis, being a ex-chief minister who ruled for 5 years, he is very much aware of the situation. He knows everything, what mistakes they are doing, and he is
Right.
capitalizing and exploiting them very well. He is taking everything to the, he is having all of them on their toes.
Do you think the comment or the remark that Devendra Fadnavis might ultimately be the real gainer, I mean, is that a fair comment to make? Do you agree?
Yeah, but he is pursuing individual cases like Sushant Singh Rajput and then Kangana Ranawat and now this Mansukh Kiran case. He has emerged as a very potent leader, and BJP is heavily banking on him in Maharashtra affairs. But he should need to focus other things also. The plight of
Right.
people who is suffering from corona and power bills. That is also very much important. Instead of focusing a single person, he should focus on public issues also.
Very briefly, sir, what exactly are these police reforms and why do you think they are needed when situations like the current Maharashtra one crop up?
Police reforms are very, very relevant, Smitaji, in this context, because remember, the main plank of police reforms is that transfers should be done in a very, very rational and a transparent manner.
Right.
That means the transfers of these people should be done by a police establishment board. And police establishment board should comprise of senior, police officers who according to merit, post these junior officers. There is also the constitution of a police complaint authority where, the police complaints can be judged very, very, in an unbiased manner. There is also the posting of the DGPs by a body and also fixity of tenure. Now, the most important point which I want to mention here, Smitaji, is that, every time the administrative machinery cannot be looked at from a political prism. Everything is not
Yes.
political management.
Everything
You
related to governance is not politics, right?
Exactly. So that is why you have to look at things in an unbiased, rational, and a professional manner. And that's why the need of the hour is that the key ministries like Home, Finance, etc., should be looked into by professionals and, if possible, by people who have this background. Unfortunately, in the states especially, while you may be having talent at the center, in states especially, these things are not looked at, and everything is looked at by the prism of politics.
Short-term
And that is
politics.
where we have.
One-
I think Maharashtra.
I have one
is going to
query
be a
here,
serious-
sir, for the understanding
Yes.
of our viewers particularly. What do you think is holding up these reforms? I mean, when such a large, number of people feel the need for it so urgently, we have seen so many reports on the subject. What do you think is holding it up?
Smitaji, I will repeat my oft-quoted line: in a country where politics is run at the grassroots through tehsils and thanas, how can you expect any political executive to let go of the police powers and autonomy? And that's why the management will always be done in political fashion. The postings will always be done in a political manner. Look at even the 3 top posts in Maharashtra. How
Yes.
everyone is on tenterhooks. So it looks like it will take time. It will not be an issue for elections till people and civil society and all of them come together and force the hand of the government. Till then, I think it's going to be a little difficult.
Sunil Chavke, do you agree that the basic fundamental reason why nobody wants to put their hand in these police reforms and implementing them is because politics, at the end of the day, we may say whatever we want sitting in Delhi, but real politics is actually run from the thanas and the tehsils in the grassroots. Every party knows the advantage, nobody wants to give it up. Is that a correct assessment in your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. And in Maharashtra, it is quite evident because NCP and Mr. Sharad Pawar, who is in the politics for last 50 years,
Yes.
knows it very well. And he is running de facto he is having a remote control over the entire home ministry and doing it for last several years.
So no wonder before this government took oath, there we heard so much and read so much about the tussle about Home Ministry. I think now we and all our viewers are able to understand why there was such a fight over Home Ministry, particularly for Mumbai. Is that right?
Yeah, but and Sharad Pawar is having liking for Home Ministry for last. So he started his career in '67
Okay.
as MLA, and then went on to become first time he became MOS Home. So
All right.
After that, he had a very very much interested in Home Ministry affairs, and he knows how politics can be done with the help of it.
Correct. I get your point, sir. And that is the advantage of having a seasoned journalist like you, Mr. Chowke, you know, when we discuss a serious subject, because you can give us a perspective and a background which perhaps currently a lot of people would not remember and they might not even be knowing. So, Mr. Azad, I'd like to give you the last word because I'm just running out of time. I have very little time left to just ask you one brief question. How do you think the media has been going on the issue since this is Media Scan? And also a word of caution or advice. I mean, in what manner, how do you think the media should now focus on the subject so that the real crux of the issue comes out for the benefit of the people and the state of Maharashtra?
First, I would like to praise the media on the point that the media has been very, very careful and penetrating enough to raise issues from Hathras to Mumbai to, in the south, extremely important things. What I would suggest to the media is they should not take positions of ideology in their reporting.
Right.
And the other thing also I would like to say is that media must raise issues of national concern. In this, I will tell you very briefly, yes. I'm a little disappointed to see that the issues which are mostly coming up in the media and TV channels are the political part, whether the Agadi government will stay or not stay. But the real issue is substance. The real issue is the rot in the administration. The real issues, can we have bureaucracy reform or police reform or not? So I wish that there are a lot of good media men. They must raise these issues of national importance,
Perfect,
which will be of great importance to public.
Perfect. Mr. Chowke, one very quick comment, just 30 seconds. Do you agree largely with what Mr. Azad just said? That, because politics is perhaps, the political part is always more headline worthy, it is more sensational. So we get bogged down so much by the political part of it, we forget to address the real problem, the administrative issues involved, the law and order question, the issue of reforms. Yeah,
definitely, because the administrative problems and the law and order issue is very much closer to the people, close to their heart, and they are suffering from this situation. So I agree with Yashovardhan ji Lare.
Right, a point taken, sir. So on that note, viewers, I think both our guests have been very, very honest and candid in going into the depth of the entire issue. Certainly this weekend will not be the end of what is happening. I think we are going to see many more weekends like this where there will be a lot of new questions in this chain of events in Maharashtra. Two things have emerged very clearly in our discussion today. The one is the urgent need for police reforms, of having a fixity of tenure for our senior officers, the fact that officers must be able to go about their job without having that sword of transfer dangling on their heads. At the same time, while our experts agreed that the media has been very forthright in coming out and bringing out issues without any pressure or fear, they may perhaps do better if they try to focus on the crux of the matter and not just get busy with political statements and political developments just because that is easy to report and also because it is easy to access. On that note, viewers, I am afraid I have completely run out of time this evening. Let me profusely thank Yashovardhan Azad, a well-known former IPS officer and an expert on internal security and law and order issues. Also my guest Sunil Chowke, whom we have been reading and following for not years but decades, for sharing their insight with us. Thank you very much, gentlemen, And I hope I'll catch up with both of you one of these weekends again to discuss other issues of the media. With that, viewers, it's time to say goodnight on Media Scan. But do keep watching DD India as we continue to scan the media for you.